Good evening. Welcome, Simon's Trading Channel. Happy Sunday to you. Hope you've had a smashing weekend. Oh, I've left on the super cool, too cool for Simon sunglasses. It's really funny because you can see the reflection of the screen really quite clearly there. Um, yeah. Low lighting in my room this evening because it's not far off my bedtime. So yeah, apologize for the slightly dark visage, but it's the way it is, my friends. Now, let's just get on with the price action analysis. Let's have a look at yesterday's monthly closure. So let's have a look, let's have a look, let's have a look. Still got my Fibonacci retracement on. And as you can see, so I took a Fibonacci replacement from here to here. And so it's this is the month of August that's now closed. A very big wick, and it closed above the 236, and the wick, as I said in yesterday's video, perfectly picked out the 382. So remember, it is subjective where you put your Fibonacci retracements on. That one seems to make sense to me. It might not to other people. So I'm just thinking status quo, consolidation, sideways and down, whatever. This, to me, does not look like a market that you would short with any gusto. Okay, so that'll do on the monthly. So it's good to see a monthly closure because they only come around every 30 days or so. Now, weekly. So 4 hours left before Bybit closes out its weekly candle. And my goodness, there is nothing to separate those two weekly candles. I mean, there will be, I mean, if you went down to a low enough time frame. But on this weekly time frame, you can almost get a spirit level on the bottom and on the top. They're like sort of non-identical twins. One's green, one's blue. But yeah, that's super interesting. So this one opened where Bitcoin is now and closed where this week opened, and it's come back down. So it's been an up-down week, 2 weeks even, 1 week up, 1 week down, and well, we'll see what happens next week. I don't think it would be too bold to suggest that probably nothing too dramatic, based on the last however many months that is, 5 months, however 6 months. It's a long time. It feels like a significant proportion of my life. I hope it doesn't feel like a significant proportion of your life. But either way, yes, almost an identical swap from the weekly candles. So nothing hugely exciting there. Forgot to check on the momentum indicators, so bear with me a moment. And as if by magic, there it is. So I've got my good old reverse MACD here, and you can see it's been edging closer to the zero line for the last half year, and it's still not quite there. So my personal predefined momentum precipice, or no, momentum switch is on any time frame the MACD crossing the zero line. There will be many people who go, Simon, what are you talking about? But I don't care. I think it's quite a good metric. So yeah, the number, because it's still a fair amount, still a fair bit, because there's still a bit of a distance between the MACD and the zero line, that was the phrase I was looking for, this number is not particularly relevant. However, if you remember in yesterday's video, so it's basically, let's call it 40,000. In yesterday's video, I was referring to a kind of, probably what I would foresee as the worst case scenario in this bull run would be Bitcoin coming down to the low 40s. I don't really see it happening at the moment, but you know, we'll see what happens. But that would coincide with the rate of change that this is coming down, around 40,000. But again, until the MACD gets very close to the line, this number is not particularly useful. The number that is useful is what will it continue falling, or what does Bitcoin need to do to prevent it falling? And that's quite a bit of work right now. So that will, however, change in 4 hours when this weekly candle closes. So this number won't be the same tomorrow as it is today. It'll be interesting to see where it is. But at the moment, that's a $6,000 hurdle for Bitcoin to switch the weekly momentum back to the upside and turn it green. That number's likely to come down though, but find out tomorrow. Okay, now daily. Let me see you. Where's the big D? There it is. Come on. My goodness, that's boring. 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be the 5th day, pretty much sideways. 4 hours left. Still 4 hours to go. And yep, momentum's definitely to the downside. Momentum's to the downside. I don't think trend is yet. And remember, I've said this a few times in the last few videos. For me to be blasé and say, no, that's no longer an uptrend with its low, its high, its higher low, its higher high. And this isn't a low yet, remember. I said the criteria to turn this into a low is for Bitcoin to get back above the current high. So, or at least 50% of the way there. But I mean, it's not done either of those things. And so at the moment, technically, this is still the current low. This is like where it all started. And Bitcoin's sort of flirted with that region today. But it's made up for it. And I don't know where it's going to close because the time machine that I've been trying to work on is still not quite perfected. But you know, with 4 hours left, I'd say it looks like it's probably going to close in and around where it is at the moment, and thus will not be lower than there. So the trend to the upside on the daily is still just about intact. The momentum is to the downside. So there you are. The MACD will continue falling unless Bitcoin gets basically back above 60,000. That number's been very key for a very long time. And yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about, because there's a bit of a gap, this number. As I said on the weekly, it's not much to write home about. The 4 hour, I was gonna pre-warn you that it's not going to be particularly exciting, but there you go, you can see it. So you can see my squiggles again. It's the same, looks very similar to the daily. Basically, from the last chart, the daily was maybe 5 days. There are 5 candles from Wednesday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so yeah, 4 or 5 sideways. Well, that's what it looks like on a 4 hour chart. So yeah, all right, it has been, you know, more sort of sideways and down, but no wick closures below these two, which were basically at 58,000. So if I was thinking in quite a short-term way, 4 hour, yeah, probably so 4 hour, a few 4 hour closures below 58 would start to look a little bit suspicious. A daily closure below 58, you'd probably then be looking for Bitcoin to try and defend this low, which is not much, it's only $1,000 below that, 57. And if that breaks down, then I would say, particularly with daily closures below this low at 57, then yeah, well then it's no longer an obvious uptrend, and depending on what the price action looks like, it's more of a sort of sideways move. I wonder, and this has just occurred to me right now as I've been looking at this 4 hour chart, if I get rid of those two drawings, bear with me a second, I just moved my not so fancy face out of the way. What was I doing then? I need to remove that drawing. Get it off the screen immediately. Why won't you listen to me? There you go. Yes, I do wonder if there may end up being, I hope this doesn't happen, I truly do, but the most boring, terrible range that goes something along that, like that, with a midpoint where most of the price actions occurred. So with a low basically at sort of 54.5 and a high around maybe even 62, maybe even 62. So somewhere between 54 and a half and 57. I do wonder, but that, to be honest, that's not even on the cards yet. That's just me trying to be clever and think ahead. Um, Certainly not the way I trade. What else have I got to say? In fact, how many minutes? That's 10 minutes. Where does the time go? There you are. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, like and subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. And join me tomorrow for Mondays. We'll see where that weekly closure ended up. Take care. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.